when you've created the output from AppFlow, AWS AppFlow, you will get a JSON file in the S3 bucket folder. So this is my S3 bucket, and this is the folder. Then inside here, this is the JSON file, and I'll just download this to show you what it looks like, and open it in a text editor. So it will look something like this, and this is just for basic stuff. Only just a few columns coming out, 4 columns coming out there, 3 dimensions and 1 metric. So that's what the JSON file looks like. And although in some places it might say that in AppFlow there is a setting where you can output it to CSV. I tried to look for this setting, but I couldn't find it at all. And where the people say that it is, it's not there at all. So I don't think that exists anymore. It just has to come out in JSON, and then you have to deal with the JSON when it comes out using something else. But that can all be done inside Snowflake as well, or it can be done with Python or anything else that you're consuming your JSON with. So the basic thing here is to have the JSON file. Then is after here, you have to go through in Snowflake. You have to go through all this configuration of making a stage as well. If you've got this landing in a new place like I have now, a new folder, and then you have to make a new sort of staging area and all this kind of stuff here, which is option 1. So all this kind of stuff, integration and staging objects, that has to be recreated over here. And that's just all done through all of these instructions here. And this is the link here that is needed. And I just followed all of this through. It's pretty straightforward, although there's a lot of it. But it's pretty comprehensive, and it tells you exactly what's needed. Then after that, you've got the stage created, then you can do these kinds of things here. So I have sort of cancelled out the number for my ARN here so that it's not seen. But basically creating the stage in Snowflake is something like this, and that's the folder, that's the bucket, and that's the folder here. And then you go through all of these things here where you grant the access to the stage that you just created, the integration, and then you look at this, and then you go into the description of this, and then here you get your credentials to put in your AWS. That's part of all of this setup inside here. So this is in the end what you get. You replace this stage here with this, and then you get the format. So you still leave the format as format CSV, but it will come in as a JSON, and then it will still be okay. So that's what I did anyway. And then you get to this bit. So you will find, down here, this is the things. Then it will come in. Then you can start trying to consume the JSON. Now you bring in the JSON as a raw source, as a variant, and then you can just pull it into this table, raw source table that you've created as a variant with a variant column. So it brings it in as just one column. The whole JSON file just sits in one big variant column. Then you navigate around inside that column you can see what it looks like. It just inside here, it'll look like this. So that though is holding a lot of things. So if you just click that, then you can go in here and you will see that's the JSON file. So it's all in this one table, all in this one column. Then what you can do is you can start to navigate it a little bit. So as you can see, I had to do a few things to actually sort of navigate it. Maybe there are better ways to do this, but I did it in a series of tables. So here, this one is where I just bring out some levels. So here is the first thing that I did, the first level that I brought out for this one. I'm just taking the values. So I'm taking out the reports thing here. So the level for reports, and then if I run that, then I end up in source 2. So I started with source 1. Now I got source 2. And source 2, what does source 2 look like? Source 2 basically looks like this. If I just take out the values, if I did this, just to show you what source 2 looks like. So source 2 looks like this, but out of all of this, I just want the value column, and then I want to dissect that. So if I go back here and then uncancel that out, and then I'm going to put that, just this column, into source 3. So I'm just doing it in step by step at the moment. So creating source 3 here. And just to show you what source 3 looks like, you can do a select all from source 3 here. So that looks like this. And then from this, I'm going to dissect this into dimensions and metrics. And I'm going to do that at the same time using a function to replace some of these things that I don't want, like the double quotes and the open brackets and close brackets and curly brackets and things like this. So first, I want to make this function. Then you'll see here, what I'm doing is I'm also I'm running the output into source 4. So source 4 is my final thing. But if I just do the select here, I can show you what it looks like. So it has taken out all those funny things, and then the next part is to split out the columns. So it's taken out all the double quotes and brackets and stuff that I don't want. So that's what goes into source 4. So if I run that bit, then that will run it into source 4. And then inside source 4, I'll show you what I have, which is just the 2 columns. But then obviously the next bit is to use a split part to split out the columns for this dimension, because there's obviously this as a date column coming here at the front from the 5. I can't get the 5 here. And then there's another column for the device, which is a desktop. Then there's the path here, which isn't always a /. Sometimes it's a /blog. Then you have the country. So these are the things that I want to separate out, and I use it, and I use this, and I do this using a split part on the select here. Run this, and then now I've got my JSON file nicely converted into columns and rows and separated out properly. So that is the final output that I want to leave this with. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it and hope it's been useful for you.